Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Obama judge slaps down Stacy Abrams election lawsuit in state Biden labeled Jim Crow 2.0. The federal judge ruled the Georgia law isn't perfect, but does not violate the Constitution. Yeah, that's a shame. You know, it's amazing to me. I was a local elected official here in upstate New York in the early 2000s, and I wrote and helped write and passed in 8 years many pieces of legislation, many laws. And none of them were perfect, but it does not violate the Constitution. And by the way, I'll emphasize, it was an Obama-appointed judge that slapped down the lawsuit. Welcome back, all you thought criminals. And those of you that are new, welcome. A little bit of business first. Kind of be impressed a little bit by YouTube. So anything you can share, any videos you can watch, share the link to this video or many other of my videos everywhere on your social media will help me get around what's going on with YouTube. Let's take a look at the story. A federal judge sided with the state of Georgia in a lawsuit filed by a group associated with Democrat Stacy Abrams challenging the constitutionality of its election practices. Although Georgia's election system is not perfect, well, none of them are, the challenge practices violate neither the Constitution nor the VRA. U.S. District Judge Steve Jones, an Obama appointee, wrote, referring to the Voter Rights Act of 1965, he detailed his reasoning in a 288-page order. I know novels that are less than that, but I'm not a legal scholar, so I don't know if that's just normal or not. 288-page order citing against Abrams' Fair Fight Georgia group. Remember, she's been screaming, voter suppression, voter suppression. If you just can't walk into a polling place, nobody knows who the hell you are, and say you're Joe Blow, they'll let you vote under Joe Blow's name. Well, no. Abrams' Fair Fight Georgia group in a lawsuit filed 4 years ago alleging voter suppression and racial discrimination after she narrowly lost to the state's current Republican governor, Brian Kemp. Which, by the way, she never conceded. Her thing on The View was, well, I'm not living in the governor's mansion. I would have noticed, wouldn't you? So I know I'm not governor. That's her concession. Unbelievable. Election deniers are supposed to be threats to our democracy. Kemp, who was Georgia's Secretary of State when the lawsuit was filed, applauded the ruling as a victory against an attempt by Abrams to weaponize the legal system for political gain. That's all the Democrats do. In fact, they're extremely good at it. I got to give it to them. They do use the legal system for political gain. They have been for decades. Judge Jones's ruling exposes this legal effort for what it really is, a tool wielded by a politician hoping to wrongfully weaponize the legal system to further her own political goals. I'm not a huge Kemp fan, but he's absolutely right. It's unbelievable. Oh, God. Georgia voting shattering turnout records after MSNBC, CNN, and others ran with Jim Crow accusations. That's another story for another time. People are fed up. People are just fed up. While the court's actions are not the preferred outcome, the conduct of this trial and preceding cases and legislative actions represent a hard-won victory for voters who endured long lines, burdensome date of birth requirements, and exact match laws disproportionately impact black and brown voters. I'm just going to say this straight out. This entire paragraph is 100% pure, unadulterated BS. Absolute nonsense. All of it. It's insinuating that black and brown people in the state of Georgia are just too stupid to get ID. That's what it comes down to. They don't know how to use the internet. They don't have access to the internet. They don't know what they need to do because they're stupid. It's so condescending, it's incredible. Abrams' Fair Fight action I do have to say, though, the Democrats, they name stuff. They have great names for stuff. Fair Fight Action. The organization filed a lawsuit along with Carrot Action, a nonprofit that advocates for domestic workers. The hell does an advocate for domestic workers have to do with voter ID? Several churches later joined as plaintiffs. It was originally extremely broad and called for a significant overhaul of Georgia's election system. By the time it got to trial, the scope had narrowed significantly after some allegations resolved by changes in state laws and others were dismissed by the court. Yeah, it's not a perfect law. You can go back and fix parts of it that aren't perfect. That's the problem. It has to be perfection or it's just wrong. Georgia officials have created a landscape where it's hard to register, harder to stay registered, and ultimately harder to vote. Hard to stay registered means that you could. I've ran in multiple elections and helped on dozens of campaigns here in upstate New York. And what they mean by harder to stay registered means they want people that haven't voted for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. And when they see those people are still on the rolls, those are the people, when people do stuff unlawfully, those are the names they go after first. I know it firsthand from up here in New York, and that's all I can say because this is YouTube and I can't go into details. The barriers to voting aren't caused by inevitable human errors, but instead result from choices designed to keep certain people from voting. Again, 100% bullshit. In fact, let's see what Jeremy Boring at the Daily Wire thinks about that, and also President Trump.
You've had enough of the woke bullshit.
You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke. Everything woke. It's true. Everything woke turns to shit, okay?
Well, that's pretty much straightforward. This is a voting rights case that resulted in wins and losses for all parties over the course of the litigation. Blah, 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 blah. In a press release, Georgia's Republican Secretary of State called the win ruling a win for Georgia. Elected officials dedicated their lives to safe, secure, and accessible elections. Yeah. I'm not even going to read that next paragraph. Unfortunately, because this is YouTube, there really comes a lawsuit filed by the Department of Justice last year alleging discrimination. Yeah. Both the DOJ and Biden White House declined to provide an update on that case last week when contacted by Fox News Digital. Biden referred to Georgia as Jim Crow in the 21st century. This is the same moron when he was campaigning with his vice president under Biden that said Republicans were going to put a bunch of black people back in chains. Raffensperger's office told Fox Digital that 1.9 million eligible voters participated in 2022 primary contest compared to 1.2 in 2018. That's 700,000 more people. Where's your voter suppression? Despite the DOJ's allegation of voter suppression, an African-American turnout was 22% higher than any other primary election except for the 2020 presidential election. Kemp and Abrams are set to square off in a rematch for Georgia governor next month in a race of Fox News polling shows Kemp leads by 7 points. It'll end up being 10. That's my guess. It'll be 9 or 10. I'll buff it down a little. 9 or 10. This is the end of the political career of Stacy Abrams. It won't be the end of her career, unfortunately, because she can write more books how socialism is a great way to go. Or she can write more, and I use air quotes, romance novels that are borderline pornography, which is fine. That's her right. But Stacy, do what you're good at. And being a rabble rouser and lying and being a grifter and making yourself rich over is what you're good at. So that's just the way it is. So when you lose some, you win some. Sometimes you're the statue, sometimes you're the pigeon. Until next time. Goodbye and good luck.